How did we get here? Well, before we get to this, we have to rewind to where the story begins. SummerSlam 2023. Finn Balor alongside the Judgment Day have been on a tear through the Raw roster, and it's culminated with a match 7 years in the making. Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor for the World Heavyweight Championship. And the match is a classic. Both men hit almost everything at each other, but in the end, Balor has more left in the tank and nails a coup de grace to become the new World Heavyweight Champion. And Damian Priest comes out to celebrate with him, as Judgment Day have now solidified themselves on the peak of the mountain on Monday Night Raw. But Balor didn't get a specific blessing. As soon as Balor wins the title, just like 7 years ago, it's immediately taken away from him as Damian Priest cashes in his briefcase to become the new World Heavyweight Champion. But what do the rest of Judgment Day think about this? Well, we find out very quickly as Dominic Mysterio beats the holy hell out of Balor. So on the following episode of Raw, the Prince kicks off the show demanding for his former allies to come out, and Priest obliges and comes out to a ramp, although he announces that Judgment Day found a replacement. And with Balor confused, JD McDonough debuts and starts beating him down, but Judgment Day still have enemies as Seth Rollins and Sami Zayn assist Balor, although he didn't want their help, as he makes that abundantly clear with him walking away from Rollins. But as he's walking backstage, he gets confronted by a man who knows all about second chances, as Cody Rhodes confronts Finn Balor and tells him he deserves a chance to prove himself to be a good guy. But Balor's having none of it, as he believes he doesn't need the respect of others, and that he will still act the same way he does no matter who it is towards. However, after talking with Cody, he realizes it's better to at least tolerate others for the greater good of taking down the common enemy. But before the show ends, Adam Pearce announces a triple threat in a Raw Contenders match to face Damian Priest at Payback for the main event of next week's Raw between the Prince, Sami Zayn and Seth Rollins. And that match is now, and it's in contention for match of the year. Balor still not being a good guy, but tolerating his potential allies adds so many elements to the match, along with the history between him and the Visionary. And due to Damian Priest not having a preference, Judgment Day decide not to interfere, so it's a fair war between the three athletes, although in the end, Rollins nails Zayn with a stomp, and due to Balor being taken out by a brutal stomp on the outside of the ring, Rollins picks up the victory and punches his ticket to face Priest at Backlash. But what about Balor? Well, he is beyond frustrated backstage, and once again Cody confronts him, but this time he's more vicious in what he says. He tells Balor he is a glorified Neely man, and that he needs to prove himself that he won't betray him or Jey Uso or Sami or Rollins. So if Balor fired up, Cody challenges the Prince to a match at Payback in a second chance match for Balor to really prove his motives in the ring and if Balor will cheat or not. So leading into Payback, Balor is starting to get put to the test with matches with people lower down the card such as Jinder Mahal or Tozawa, but due to their abilities and spots on the roster, Balor doesn't have to cheat at all to get their victories, although he is a ruthless man in between the ropes. However, he doesn't beat them down, nor does he show respect to them. He wins, he celebrates and leaves, whilst warning Cody that he will defeat him, and after that he's gunning to go after Judgment Day, who still end up attacking him backstage. So at Payback, Finn Balor takes on the American Nightmare in a phenomenal match which showcases Finn Balor's abilities and slight change in demeanor and character, as throughout the match, when he has the opportunity to cheat or take a cheap shot, he doesn't. And Rhodes actively shows Balor that he appreciates this. But there's still a match that's taking place, and they're throwing everything at each other to try and get the win. These two are fighting as if they hate each other. However, ultimately, Cody nails a trinity of crossroads, and just like that, Balor had not only proved himself to be a main eventer even in defeat, but that he isn't a cheat or a piece of dirt anymore. Most people label the Prince now as a tweener, as he isn't bad, but he isn't 100% good either. But what's next for the Prince? Well, after defeating Seth Rollins, Damian Priest opens Raw and warns Balor, who begins to brawl with Judgment Day, although due to the numbers game, Balor is outmatched, although eventually Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn and Jey Uso run off the Judgment Day. And it's announced that in the main event there will be a 6-man tag team match between Judgment Day and Sami Zayn, Cody Rhodes and Finn Balor, and that match is intense with Balor mauling on all of the Judgment Day whenever he gets the chance. However, due to Balor not being a huge team player and attacking Outlaw, Judgment Day pick up the victory over the babyfaces. But on the following Raw, Balor is in the ring and he's tearing a hole through all the members of Judgment Day and even challenges one of them to a match. And with the swagger of a million men, Dirty Dom answers the challenge. And the match is on, and each man knows each other inside and out. Although Balor has the experience, Dom Dom has the speed and agility of someone who likes to get dom-dommed. Anyways, the match is an even battlefield. However, due to Balor knowing all of Dominic's offense, he gets on top and nails a 1916 onto Dom Dom's little neck. And just like that, Balor gets through his first hurdle to get back to the World Heavyweight Championship. But after that, JD McDonough immediately blindsides and beats him down. The student has taken out the master and even challenges him to a match at Fastlane to prove who is a true master of the craft. And with Damian Priest being occupied by Sami Zayn and Dominic Mysterio being occupied by Cody Rhodes, JD and Balor both get into it with each other, whether it be backstage or in the ring, as the hatred of betrayal from McDonough runs deep and the resentment is crystal clear. But there's added stakes that if Balor wins, he'll get an opportunity at Damian Priest. However, on the other hand, if JD wins, Balor can never challenge for the World Heavyweight Championship ever again. So at Fastlane, the match is set, and due to the chemistry between these two, it's an absolute masterclass of the same dynamic as Balor's previous match against Dirty Dom. JD is showcasing why he deserves his flowers, but so is the Prince of WWE. However, Balor is getting on top, and every other member of Judgment Day are busy, so JD is all on his own and has to fight for survival. But how long can he survive? He's being worn down, and Balor is showcasing why he deserves his opportunity. And in the end, he nails a huge coup de grace to pick up the win, and Priest is absolutely enraged, but he has to focus on retaining his title against Sami Zayn, which he just manages to accomplish thanks to Dominic and Cody's continued brawling following their match, indirectly screwing Sami Zayn. So leading into Crown Jewel, it's full-blown warfare between Judgment Day and the Raw roster, with Balor specifically targeting the last person he has to overcome in regards to the Judgment Day, that man being Damian Priest. And with the rest of the Judgment Day having their own problems, Balor has a fair chance at vengeance, but can he become a two-time World Heavyweight Champion? Well, before we find out, let's talk about today's sponsor, me. Yeah, once again, this video is sponsored by my Patreon, and if you want exclusive What If scenarios and these videos early, sign up now. Anyways, it's time. Crown Jewel's core main event, the Prince of WWE Finn Balor taking on the Archer of Infamy, Damian Priest. And the match is an absolute banger. Priest is showcasing his superior strength with huge power moves, whereas Balor is now the agile one of the contest. It's a David versus Goliath style match, but David is starting to fight back. Balor is using his aggressiveness and viciousness to his advantage. He starts nailing brutal strikes towards Priest, which leaves Priest in a bloody mess. But as it's looking like Balor might be able to become World Heavyweight Champion, we find out that Judgment Day has expanded. Odyssey Jones screws the Prince out of the 3 count, but as Balor is looking for a coup de grace, thanks to the distraction by the newest member of Judgment Day, Priest nails Balor with a South of Heaven chokeslam. It's absolute heartbreak for Balor, who once again has been screwed out of a reign of the World Heavyweight Championship. But why did Odyssey Jones join Evil? Well, it's quite simple. Judgment Day gave him a chance WWE didn't want to take with him for months. Thus, Judgment Day members have grown, and with McIntyre signing with them temporarily to go against Jey Uso, it's time for war. Finn Balor, Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso, Sami Zayn and Seth Rollins taking on JD McDonough, Odyssey Jones, Dirty Dom, Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre. And if you're wondering, I'd have Randy Orton return in this segment with Paul Heyman, or even better, the Tribal Chief. Anyways, War Games has begun, and Balor and JD McDonough are the Iron Men in the match. They absolutely slaughter each other. However, after War Games technically officially begins, alongside a few mental spots, I'd have the good guys go over with the only feud continuing after this point being Balor and Priest. Oh yeah, also some guy also would make his debut after the fact is set up Rollins versus Punk at WrestleMania. I guess that's also important to explain. Nevertheless, due to Balor not getting the pin in War Games, he doesn't get the next chance at Priest's World Heavyweight Championship. So he has one chance to get another chance at Priest, and that's the Royal Rumble. Balor enters at number 12 and is showcasing why he deserves to win. However, when it's looking like Balor could go the distance, here comes Priest. He doesn't want Balor to get another opportunity at him, and due to the distraction, Big Bronson Reed gets the elimination over the Prince. And once again, Balor has been screwed out of a rightful one-on-one match with Priest. But due to Cody Rhodes winning the match, there's one more stop. There's one more chance for the Prince, and that's the Elimination Chamber. And after Balor won his qualifying match, he joins Bronson Reed, Drew McIntyre, Jey Uso, Seth Rollins and Sami Zayn inside the Elimination Chamber. And Balor is putting in the best shift of his life in the match. He eliminates both Jey Uso and Seth Rollins, and even makes it to the final 2, himself and McIntyre. And after a phenomenal mini match, Balor, just by the skin of his teeth, manages to pick up the win. He can finally get a fair match against Damian Priest in what could be Balor's final chance at the World Championship. But it's announced after Judgment Day defeat Balor's makeshift team that it'll be a no disqualification match. So if Balor wants to win, he's going to have to work harder than he ever has before. But before WrestleMania, he manages to talk to JD McDonough behind closed doors alongside Odyssey Jones and Dominic Mysterio. So at WrestleMania, the match is set and it's an absolute war. Weapons are thrown, tables are shattered, and blood is drawn. Priest nails the Prince with a chair shot to the skull, making him gush blood. It's looking like Balor is screwed as Judgment Day are walking down. But Balor has an insurance policy. JD McDonough has betrayed Judgment Day to join Balor, and as Priest is watching this unfold, Balor gets up and holds up a certain sign. And as he does this, a New Japan Pro Wrestling legend makes his debut. Tama Tonga has joined Balor and McDonough, but as soon as Dominic Mysterio starts to walk down to the ring, Carl Anderson assaults Mysterio. No one can believe it. The OG Bullet Club alongside JD McDonough have reformed, and due to this advantage, Balor nails the coup de grace and becomes the new World Heavyweight Champion. And although Balor accomplished his goal, a dark bullet hole cloud reigns over the victory. And if you've enjoyed this video and have pondered the question, what if Adam Copeland had re-signed with WWE? Then you might want to watch how I would have this scenario play out.